Hello, and welcome to another Living Life Ministry video. This is episode 2 of season 2 of the video blog series. And now today's video is going to be very short. It's just a quick little tidbit or a life lesson that I think is very important. Now, most recently, I got to spend some time in courthouses working with a family case, and I noticed something extremely interesting while I was kind of waiting around for things to happen. What I kept noticing was that a lot of people who were there for a trial or a hearing or some sort of bail or whatever thing they were there for, a lot of these people were very concerned and expressing their history and why they were there with, strangers or their lawyers or friends and family, just trying to explain why they're there, why they've been deemed a criminal, why things went wrong. And something I noticed was that their circumstances seemed to be born out of other circumstances they couldn't control. Now, for example, there was one guy, and I'm going to change the story a little bit to protect his personal story, but basically the concept that I was getting from him was that as a child, he was over drugged for, to control his hyperactive nature. And because of that, he ended up not being able to function without some sort of medication in his system, and eventually he felt like it fried his brain. And so he ended up trying, once he got into high school in later years, he ended up doing all these other kind of drugs, which just led him down this bad path. Now, I'm not saying that there's an excuse for doing these kind of drugs, but what I am saying is that his journey to that wasn't just a simple decision on his part to, hey, I'm going to make drugs. There's a bunch of other circumstances that led up to it. And this was a very common pattern that I was noticing in a lot of these people's stories that they were sharing. And it got me thinking, and something that has come up in my university career a lot is, trying to understand evil, its nature. Now, a lot of people have a different opinion on where evil comes from. But whether you think it's, all comes from the devil or if it's human born, it doesn't matter to me. But there is a nature to evil that I think is really important to be shared. I see kind of evil as kind of a viral thing. It spreads. And the tiniest little bit of darkness, badness, sadness, some sort of negative can set loose a fire that can spread and affect a lot of people. It's very much like a cold or a virus. So let me give you an example. So let's say there's a child and he has a hard time reading. Let's say he's dyslexic. And it isn't, his parents don't either care or they don't show the attention they need to notice that he's a dyslexic. So what happens is that there's that little bit of evil there. It's not like eating, nasty evil. They're not trying to abuse him. They're not doing anything really wrong. But it's just a negate. There's a lack of care there to notice that he's a dyslexic. So what ends up happening is that this kid goes to school and he struggles and he struggles and he struggles and he's having a hard time and he doesn't understand why. So he gets frustrated and he gets angry. And because he doesn't know how to deal with it, he lashes out at other people to try to make him feel better. So he becomes a bully. So all of a sudden, his lack of attention to the care he needs has developed into him attacking other students. Now, let's say he attacks a little kid, and this kid, is abused at home or something like that. Well, even if he's not, maybe he's just getting picked on at school. So this bully starts picking on this kid, and his life becomes really, really hard. So he ends up growing and growing and growing. Eventually, he becomes to develop a very low self-confidence, kind of a self-esteem issues, and begins to drink a lot to deal with this. So over time, he gets drinking and drinking and drinking, and by the time he's a young adult, he ends up in a car accident because he was drinking drunk. Now, none of these things just happened on their own. They didn't come out of nowhere. They're kind of developed over time. That little spark of darkness, that little bit of evil grew. It grew like wildfire, and it slowly spread until something really big happens. And it's kind of a scary thing, but at the same time, it's a good thing because, like most other viruses, there's ways to fight a cold. You can fight a cold. If evil just came out of nowhere, That would be really scary. But evil seems to develop. It seems to grow. It seems to leach through systems of people and networks. So if we can understand that, we realize we can actually take preventative measures to stop these things from happening. And it's as simple as just being aware of other people and being kind to other people. So if you see a kid or a person who looks down and say, what's wrong? Is there anything I can do to help? Something as simple as that. Just even a smile. If you're going to the store and let's say somebody's really feeling down about their life, they're hating themselves, and you happen to pass them by and give them a smile like they are a solid human being, you see them and you recognize them as a person who deserves respect, that can make all the difference in the world to someone. And that can prevent them from going home and hurting themselves or hurting somebody else. It's amazing what little acts of kindness, little acts of goodness, charity, just being aware of the fact that people need help. Sometimes they don't realize it. You may need help. You may not realize it. But putting that extra effort to add in just a little bit more goodness, that's the best remedy for the virus of what we would call evil. So I want you to think about that. Really, really think about that. How much effort do you put into your life to make sure that other people feel welcome, loved, respected? How much time do you take to consider, maybe they're struggling. Maybe there's someone out there that I could help. How much time do you give for the needs of others? Really think about that. And like I said, just a short little tidbit, a little life lesson, but I think it can really make the difference. So take care, God bless, and see what you can do for the world. Bye-bye.